live from the Purple Cow Branding Studios.
Welcome to Network Today. I'm Cheryl Powers.
I'm Rob Bliss.
And we're going to take you from meeting people to
making money
faster. Let's shorten that long game because money's not the only thing, but it's a thing.
That's right. You know, we're talking about here on the show, Cheryl, about changing the networking mindset. And, you know, it's network, stop.
That's right.
And it's, you know, it's about building relationships. And we really, even though we say that a lot, we've still got to keep on saying that because people still aren't getting it.
No, they aren't. So we have an annual theme because we really felt strongly. You really felt strongly about this. And I said, I agree. And that's we have to stop networking the way we used to network. And so networking stop is the overall theme. Today's topic is a really cool one that you and I did not pick.
Oh, man, it's way cool.
In vetting our guest, our lovely, amazing guest, she came up with the I hate networking because it's a fake and shake.
Yeah.
So that's how we came up with the name of this.
So cool.
I know.
Yeah, you know, again, it just got me to imagine at some of the networking events that I've attended, I see so much of it.
Yeah, it is very robotic. It is very fake. And unfortunately, those people who do go down that road thinking they're just either they're tired of it or they're working on a volume situation, they're not getting out of networking what they were hoping to get.
Yeah.
And so they're the problem.
Yeah, they are. You know, it's like I want to physically, grab them and shake them up and get them to change the networking mindset there so that they can start being authentic.
That's right. So we are going to discuss this in depth with Krista Medlock, who are our guest here in just a few minutes. And before that, we're going to have our Grand Slam, which we're going to get to in just a minute. But before that, I want to share with you a LinkedIn article on, I'm big about just searching, right? A little Google search here.
Yeah.
So my Google search was stories on fake networking.
Ooh.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get, right? So this came from LinkedIn.
Okay.
And this is 3 signs you're a networking fake.
Ooh. I'm going to take some notes here.
That's right. Yeah, and I'll be really quick because I want to get to our other items here. But 1, you're not being yourself, which is an overriding theme in every single discussion that we have.
Right.
And that is, and this is what they say, these often are because your boss told you to get out there and network. You're just mirroring those around you. You're confused about the purpose of networking. Let us unconfuse you. And you don't need to network. Right? You just are kind of out there because you feel like you have to. Number 2, you're there to make a sale. Don't be the seller, right? That is it's a killer.
Yeah.
It's a killer.
Very killer.
People will run from you if they feel you're trying to make a sale. And number 3, you only speak to those you know, right? So you take your little clan and you and your clan hold hands and you walk the room and it's unapproachable, right? You're unapproachable.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
I see that happen so much, Cheryl. It's hard and it's hard for me. I know these people. I'm just thinking about the new guests that are coming there for the first time. Oh my gosh, it's got to be so intimidating.
Yeah. There's a place for it. We talk about it on some of the other episodes, but by and large, don't hold hands and lock arms with everybody and make your way around the room. So that I thought that was really interesting.
Wow.
Right? And when
good stuff.
And when we wrap this up, we're going to give you 3 action items. So you want to stay tuned through the whole episode because those action items are always really good. So when we come back, we're going to give you our Grand Slam.
A small business is still a business. At Purple Cow Branding, we want to help you execute your greatest visions for your company. Purple Cow works for small businesses that don't have big budgets to spend on their marketing efforts. Inquire now at purplecowbranding.com to be the biggest little guy around. Purple Cow Branding, much more than digital marketing.
Okay, time for Grand Slam, which I know we're into baseball season. My husband's so excited, is really about a success story so we can keep our eyes focused on the prize. Because networking can feel like a grind sometimes. So
it's tough.
We have to remind ourselves of the excitement and the good stuff that happens so we can keep motivating ourselves.
We got to celebrate the wins.
That's right. All right, who's going first?
You go first.
Okay. This is a good one because it's a gentleman that I don't even know. I've never met. This is the power of LinkedIn, right? And getting involved in a community, some kind of group. This is the Transportation Club, obviously, that I'm a part of. But with the Transportation Club, then through Crush It, I happened to meet the young professionals in transportation. Then as I follow them on LinkedIn and have been involved with them, they've got a guy named Alan Rutter who he hosted one of their events, I think. He was the facilitator for a speaker panel. And he always has incredible knowledge that he posts on LinkedIn. Just incredible stuff. And I see all the engagement and all the research that he does. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, let's get together. We'd like to have you a part of the Transportation Club. And he said, Sheryl, how can I help you find speakers for the Transportation Club? And I'm like, bam, buddy. It's like you're reading my mind. The thing that stresses me out the most about what I've been doing is coming up with that stuff, right? And I'm not the only one who has to do it, but it's a kind of a team effort and it's hard. But if you reach out to people on LinkedIn, just have a regular conversation. Hey, how can we help each other? Stuff like beauty, magic, stuff like this comes out. So
that is so good.
There you go. So Alan Rutter. I know.
Excellent. Well, mine was a big win for me because I've been working with my eye doctor in trying to get her to switch phone systems.
Okay.
And I've been going there for probably 5-6 years now.
Not seeing eye to eye on this, are you?
It's so funny.
I know.
But Dr. K is awesome, best eye doctor around. But anyway, she's had a phone problem. But every time I try to help them, they're under contract. They can't help. Under contract. So finally, my last appointment a couple of weeks ago, they had another problem with their vendor. This time, the doctor initially said, Rob, we are going with you. The contract ends this summer. And as soon as it's over, I'm calling you. Thank you for staying in touch. And we did, and some of the things too that we did some value-added services for them that helped them get restarted and get their phones working. Didn't charge them anything. We're there for them. But, that's, again, guys, is talking about is stay in touch with these people for the long haul.
Yeah.
And if you give them value, it will later on turn into a sale. So here, just a great success story.
That is. I love that. That's a good one. All right. So when we come back, Krista Medlock is on tap. You're going to love this.
Can't wait.
All right. So we'll be back in a sec.
Are you having trouble with your VoIP phone system? Smart Office USA to the rescue. We're a local company here in DFW with real people, certified technicians, and we even come to your office to help you. Smart Office USA, representing the #1 VoIP phone system on the planet. And we are right here in DFW, ready to help you. Call us 214-272-0921 or go to www.smartofficeusa.com.
And it's time. I haven't seen my beautiful friend in so long, yet it's like yesterday. Krista Medlock. Y'all need to connect with her because she's like a super amazing, especially women connector.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you a little background on her. And I found a key thread in here that's really helps me to understand you as long as we've known each other, right? So she is the Senior Director Community Engagement for the Girl Cave. This is a project you created, right? So Chief Strategist for Thriving Brands, Contract Senior Brand Strategist at ESG Financial. That I didn't know. And that just ended like a year ago.
The short-term project.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey. Senior Director of Strategy for Flowbeal. I didn't know that either. Like, how long has it been? Senior Director Strategic Marketing for LEIO Corporation. Oh, my goodness gracious. So here's the common thread. Strategist. You are a strategist.
Yep.
Even in networking?
Even in networking, in all that you do.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to spell the name because it's Krista, right?
Correct. Krista.
Right? And the last name?
Medlock. Medlock.
That's right. M as in marvelous.
Yes.
So
I'll take that. I will take that.
That's right. So Rob was studiously writing the name down for this show to make sure that he got it right because he didn't want to get this backward. But Krista came up with a name for this. So when we're talking, she's like, oh my gosh. You said you do what from networking?
Run.
She runs. She puts on her kids. She
Sprint.
bolts. Yeah, she bolts. Like everybody else is going into the room and she's like, I'm getting out. And then you said it's because you hate the
Bake and shake.
And what is a fake and
Yes.
shake to you?
Just very contrived, already, thought of 30-second commercial. There's no personality. There's no relational type of interaction. It's just what they've come up with in their head, and they've got to get it out because they're trying to sell themselves.
They got to get it.
They got to get it out. It's like, well, we could say that it's like,
yeah, that's right. Rob, do you know people who got to get it out?
Oh, I mean, it kind of reminds me of like the used car salesman who just attacks you as soon as you get on the lot, right? And again, same thing in the networking event. Someone new walks in the doors and whoom, everyone swarms for you. And again, I had not heard that term really used in the networking side of it, but fake and shake, I love that terminology.
I can give you an example. I went to a luncheon, and it was supposed to be kind of a more casual networking opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I had my bags on. It was 100 degrees because you know how it is in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, I walk in. I hadn't even found my seat. And someone says, well, what do you do? And I'm thinking, well, hello. Hi. How are you? I'm Krista, if you wanted to know my name. And it brings me into a place I was sharing with you before. It brings me into a place where I just can't. I turn off.
Yeah.
And I'm not my best. I'm not kind. I don't think I'm kind and compassionate to the person sitting across from me when that happens. So
you think they sense it?
yes.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, why, Sheryl and I kind of started Network Today, changing the networking mindset. There's still so much of what you just described out there, and we've got to help people, educate people.
That's right. And the theme for the year, I didn't tell you this, is networking stop. Right? We want people to stop networking the way we've always been doing it.
Yes.
Because we want to build relational conversations and things that will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
So the first thing when you told me fake and shake, what comes to your mind?
Well, just, first thing that came to my mind was like phony baloney, Mr. Phony Baloney.
That's good. Yes. Yeah.
Phony baloney. All I could think about was the hello, my name is, here's my card. Next.
Yes.
Hello, my name is, here's my,
That's
very
yes.
robotic.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That is the perfect word for it.
Yeah.
Robotic. That's exactly.
And what are they going to, those are the people, I can assure you that when Rob and I are having conversations about what are you getting out of networking?
Yeah.
They're like, not much. Like they're not getting referrals. They're not having one-on-ones. And if they are, they're not bearing fruit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I do think that people have been conditioned to receive that. I think I need to grow in it because I'm less tolerable. But I think when they people go to networking events, they're desensitized.
Yeah.
So when someone comes up to them,
good word.
they think that that's okay and acceptable, and they think that they're making a connection when in reality they aren't.
Yeah.
So
desensitized.
Yeah.
You just become numb to it.
Yeah.
And then you want to run.
Yeah.
So I
do.
So now, and this is interesting because you're at a phase in your life where you're going from, hey, I didn't really have to, and you had your own networking tribe, right? The
Right.
Girl Cave tribe. Got to look that up. The Girl Cave. It's amazing. But now you're moving into a new phase in your life when you're like, okay, got to perk up my LinkedIn. I got to start getting networking things happening again. What will attract you to a networking group that you'll say, hey, I am excited about getting plugged into this. I wasn't excited about it, but I am excited about this.
I mean, I think the word is organic. I think just not coming under the pretense of networking. I think even sometimes eliminating that from the event title and just saying, women in business or men and women in business and technology, mixer or something. I know those words still indicate there's some kind of collaboration, but I think even getting people into that mind, I'm going to a networking event. People are already, they grab their business card and they do that, and they're already primed and ready. When you talk about changing mindset, it's like an automatic, like it's instantaneous. They go into a certain,
zombie mode.
Yes, to get ready for this. And I think we've got to find more creative ways to create events and opportunities to do so without making it so.
Well, this
pressure.
is interesting that you say that because you're not just a sayer, you're a doer.
Yes.
So when you see the problem, you find a solution, hence strategist, right? The master strategist. So you have created this week, right? So this week, it'll be this Thursday, March 2nd, a superb event that will be all around elevating,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So how walk us through that journey so maybe people can help understand the organic nature of what you're trying to achieve.
And actually, you and I talked a little bit about this. We do get together and mind share, so I love that. But we talked about this because I think a lot of the reasons why people are so comfortable with that 30-second commercial, because people don't know how to build relationship without having something already ready-made, right? People are uncomfortable with having, how are you? And just being able to respond and interact in a natural way. So for me, and this is why the Girl Cave, even the business edition exists, is fortifying sense of self, fortifying sense of purpose, fortifying identity. So when you walk into a room, it's not about, oh God, what am I going to say? You are convicted in what you do. You are convicted in who you are. And that leads, not your passion for that and who you are leads, not, oh, I've got to sell this and I've got to convince people. Because we know that we don't have to convince anyone of anything when you sell it with passion, right? And you know, business has lost its humanity. It's lost that, you know, free flow and, you know, the low pressure. Everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie instead of just trying to build relationship. I mean, it's that simple. And it requires people to be patient. And that's another thing too. People are so ready to turn and convert business that they feel they have to do the quick fix in order to turn the business quickly. And sometimes you need to have short wins and you need to have the long-term game, right? And so when you go to a networking group, quit thinking that you're going to close a $5,000, $10,000 sale just because you talk to somebody for 30 seconds.
What, you mean I'm not?
Right. I mean, but that people come in with that expectation.
Yeah. And then they're disappointed.
Yes.
I didn't get any business out of this group. How much did you give?
Yeah.
And it's a long-term game. I mean, so when we started this, that was what we talked about. It's a long relationship game. Now you can shore that up and shorten that by being genuine and being authentic, and then being strategic and intentional about the questions and the alignment.
Right.
I know alignment's a word.
Alignment.
I think I get that from you.
Well, you know, it's the whole thing too of, you know, bringing value. And, you know, and be the go-giver, which is one of my favorite books. And the, and the law of reciprocity.
Yes.
If you're going there to help people, then you can turn the table around.
Yeah.
And I think people, again, we got that, we got the blinders on, we got that sales mode going all the time. We've got to change it.
Yeah. You said something perfect. If you go into the mindset of really helping people, and what that means, it may not necessarily impact your individual business. Yeah. But if you go in with the mindset of serving others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There is incremental growth in that. And I can tell you, I'm a living proof of that. I think I've grown my businesses by serving and being open to give, even when I knew that it may not even result in something in return. So.
Well, and people might think too, this is one of the things I get. I think Rob gets this too. People who are kind of problem solvers tend to have multiple components to their life and their business, their professional life. And people, if they know you, they don't know what you do for a living. How does what you do philanthropically to develop the Girl Cave tribe and the business component of that, and now these new things, how does that feed your money-making time?
Well, I will say that it is, because we know that we're in a place where there's a trust crisis all over the country, all over the U.S., right? And every industry is experiencing this. And I think I do gain sales and endorsement and long-term growth by continually repeating and sharing and being a good steward of my values.
Yeah.
And that means that I'm very specific about what I post on my socials. I'm very specific on the types of conversations I have with potential partners. So when I meet with somebody, I say it's a coffee Zoom, and I'm very serious about that. I'm very intentional in saying up front, I said, I don't know where this is going to go, but I just want to get to know you. I tell them that up front. I'm not trying to poach them and ask them, in fact, sometimes I might have a coffee, to be honest, and you might tell me this might be inefficient, but we may have a coffee and talk for an hour, and it still may not result into an idea of how we would work together. I think it's just building that trust and character, trust and values. The other thing is my mission is so big and so specific that you would have to have your heart aligned with what I do in order to come on board. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I can't sell it. I can't sell it by talking about it. I sell it by who I am as a person, the integrity of who I am as a person. And many businesses are becoming that way, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
When people are partnering with you, they're partnering with your values and your integrity.
Yes.
So
And that's the beautiful thing, don't you think, Rob, of the world that we're in that there's a transparency, whether you want your business and your
Yes.
motives to be transparent or not. It's transparent. Hello.
Yes.
And it's going to be
Yes.
posted. And I don't like that we're measured by likes or online engagement, but it is kind of a reflection of what's happening inside your company or your heart.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
Yeah, I mean, you're really bringing a nice, fresh, new approach to networking, and I really like where you're coming from because you again, like I love that word you said, desensitize, and numbing, and because that's what's happening. And Sheryl and I, we continue when we go to different events, we see people just hanging out at a happy hour,
Yeah.
Yes.
and handing out business cards. It's it's still happening 25 years later.
Yeah.
And so I love your new approach and how you're you're going on with a different frame of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know if it's all, you guys are the experts and I may need to grow in this area, but I do know that the only way that I can thrive is if I'm authentic in the way that I build relationships.
Yes.
So,
yeah, man, there's just nothing worse than walking away feeling like I wasn't even me. Like if I'm going to sit down have that coffee afterward, like if there's a one-on-one that's going to follow up from this networking event, they're not even going to see the person over coffee that they saw at that networking event. And that's unfortunate because that's a total disconnect.
There's one thing I have to say about that too.
Yeah.
People actually they start to realize that there's incongruencies in what they originally met and what they're actually experiencing.
Right.
And that's where you start to get some really weird behavior, the ghosting or aggressive behavior or the quick step. Like people shift because they start and they're watching you, right? Once you meet, you know how many people have gone and just looked at everything. They know things that are way back in my, I saw you did a podcast with Lori and that was like in 2011. You know what I mean? They go way back and they're watching you and really deciphering if you are who they think you are or who you say you are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it is a little frightening.
you're always being watched.
It's a little frightening, I must say.
Sorry.
So I would love for you to explain what the Girl Cave is about, the business component that I know that I was a part of, and then now what you're doing to bring people together.
So the Girl Cave actually started off as just an event or a brand activation for women-owned businesses. So we wanted to create opportunities for women to get in front of the right audience, feature them, and bring masses of people to these very immersive events, right? They were very different when they were before people started talking about immersive events, right? And so we got touted as that group that has these girl caves or the crawls, and like people started buzzing. And I said, we're onto something, because people would walk away and they're like, gosh, I was able to collaborate here. And I felt natural. I felt, it was an easy breezy situation. I met so many wonderful women. And I was like, there's something to this. And then, of course, it aligned with where I felt like I needed to be, both personally and professionally. So at our 1-year anniversary, 3 weeks after our 1-year anniversary, COVID hits, right? And you can't have brand activations in the middle of COVID, right? At least not in person, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to really dream up what the Girl Cave meant and how do you cultivate community and engage people when you can't have that in person in the meantime. And we didn't actually. We ended up not having any events. But I said, I need to be a steward of positive. Whatever I do, it needs to be something positive. It needs to power women and it needs to be for women. So that's essentially what we are. I couldn't tell you all the things that we do, but we are a modern media company powered by women for women. So that means that everything that you'll see, whether it's on our digital channels, our social channels, our website, the events that we do, it is always going to be promoting that positive interaction and collaboration between women, right?
Yes.
It's also from the back end giving business owners and business leaders opportunities to leverage premium media assets more affordably. So we're launching, for instance, the Girl Cave segment on Good Morning Texas. I'm very proud of that. So we'll have a weekly show, and they would, a lot of small businesses can't afford those opportunities, right? So they not only get to leverage that massive audience on Good Morning Texas at an affordable rate, but they also get to align their organization with social good for women. So they're doing, it's two things, right? They're marketing, but they're also building community by also being a part of a community that's doing good in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Your March 2nd event.
yes. Irons in the fire.
Okay.
Yes. And the theme is you can set the world on fire.
Fire!
Fire. That's our word.
So
for the
it's an all-day event
Yes.
over at the great First United Bank Plano
Oh,
Conference
great
Center.
venue.
I
Great
know.
venue. Ooh.
Yes,
I know.
they're great partners. They are great partners. They
Yeah.
plug in for First United, a phenomenal financial institution.
Mhm.
They stand behind their brand and they they build community before they build business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
They are who they say they are
are.
inside and out. About 100 people you're
Mhm.
expecting.
Yes.
Multiple speakers throughout the day. We have some fun stuff you and I are going to be doing over lunch.
Yes.
Of course, it has to do with networking. How can people get in touch with you to be a part of this?
Yes. They can actually find it on Eventbrite.
Okay.
So it will be under the Irons in the Fire Summit on Eventbrite. They can go to the Girl Cave Dallas on Facebook, and you will see all of the postings on that. Or even we do have the Girl Cave Business Edition on LinkedIn.
Okay. Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yes.
I must get
Yes.
plugged in.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, Krista with a K, Medlock, and before we dismiss, I didn't warn you, a little known fact about yourself that even I wouldn't know.
Okay. Oh, you put me really on the
I
spot.
did. And it could
Did I
be-
blush?
it really, it needs to be something that the public can relate to.
that you can say in public?
Yeah, maybe something you did in high school, maybe
Yeah.
when you were a kid, maybe something you achieved that most people don't know you've got a certification in or whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get a certificate. So people probably can find this about me, but I have to say that it has a lot to do with my carriage and the way that I walk into a room. And I think this is important when we talk about networking and presentation. But I've held several titles, both in the USA and America systems. So I was Miss Highland Park USA, Miss Lake Highlands USA, and Miss Richardson in my younger days.
Wow.
And I did then actually, you may have not known this, but I founded a pageant, a depth of beauty pageant when I was in my early 20s. And you don't, listen, massive respect for people who are pageant directors because it's a lot of work. And I found that I loved consulting better than I enjoyed.
Of course, you get
Creating a
the pageantzillas.
Yes, it was character building. Let me just say that. But I have to say, outside of this was not an aesthetic endeavor for me. It really has afforded me the opportunity to feel empowered when I step into a room. And it's not about being lofty. It's not about being conceited. It's about knowing your space, knowing who you are, and loving who you are in your own space. And I think that is a powerful leadership tool when you're building something like the Girl Cave.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes. I mean,
yeah.
just, when I met you in the lobby, you carried yourself so well. I mean, it was your presence it was you're, like, who is this celebrity that just came into the office? But yeah, you did have that magical, presence.
Oh, because I was so excited that my name was on the TV. It's like, oh my gosh.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
good. This is one gal that you don't want to let get away. So make sure, again, Krista Medlock, we're so thankful that
Thank
you're
you.
here. And
Thank you,
all
Beth.
the pearls of wisdom that Rob was writing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think now we have 3 new shows that are going to come out of just this discussion.
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Oh, I love that.
right.
Yes.
That's right. So thank you, and we will be back.
Thank you.
So, Krista, you hadn't met her before today, which is unusual,
Right.
because I know that's part of our deal is that we both have to know this person. But she hit on this topic. I'm like, buddy, we got to do it. We got to bring her in.
Oh, absolutely.
So, what'd you think?
I mean, it was fabulous because, again, I just loved what she called it, the fake and shake.
Yes.
And as soon as she said that, it just resonated to me.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
We have, this is perfect for us to talk about. You're going to be hit a home run out of the park with this one.
Yeah.
So, but, the first thing that came to my mind, Sheryl, was just the fact, fake. How many times do we go to these events and meet so many people for the first time,
Yep.
and right off the bat, it's just like a used car salesman. It's like I get an icky, ooey feeling.
Yes. Yes. And my word of the week, I kept thinking about this. It's real. It's a short word, REAL. So if we can all be real, life is so much better,
Yeah.
isn't it? She had, for me, and I always love talking with Krista, we've known each other for years since my radio days.
Wow.
Actually. So she was a client and the sales rep had left the company. And so I took over the account and we became fast friends because I just love where her heart is. And she really did a great job, I thought, of verbalizing and elaborating on the fake and shake. And there's some words, I saw you like, ooh, you're scribbling them down, some things that she said that really were touch points for you. What were some of those?
Well, the first thing was what brought my attention to it was when she says when she walked, she's running away from networking right now because she's being so turned off by the fake and shake.
Yeah.
But what I love what she said was the words were like she needed to be very specific, intentional when she attended a networking.
Yeah.
She wanted to surround herself with those type of people. She talked about, get that desensitivity.
Yeah, that's right.
The numbness that that overcome her at some of these events. But what I like too is what she talked about. She was on a mission.
Yeah.
And I love how she was very powerful in speaking. She's on a mission to change the world. And I love that about her.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought one of the terms she used was we've lost our humanity.
Yes.
And that's the humanness of us has left, and we get into that, I must do this, I must do that. The boss man told me I had to do this. So I really loved that term. So I think we're going to really build on this. Another term, she felt like we were in a crisis. I thought that was another really good thing that we should address is the crisis of losing our humanity.
Sure.
So Krista, thank you. Can't wait to have you back. You're smart. You're watching this. But did you know that 2 out of every 3 Americans will deal with a legal issue this year? Half of those will spend 13 days working on those issues. At Empowered Advantage, we help with the stuff of life. Letter M as in marvelous, howardadvantage.com. All right, so as we wrap this up, I could just talk about this a lot.
Yes.
I won't because I know we have time constraints, but I could
took
talk
a lot
about
of
this a lot.
notes here.
Yeah, I know. And so there's a site I found that really speaks to this whole issue of the fake and shake today. And it came from randyclarkleadership.com. Again, just Googled fake networking, and this came up. And these are 3 action items that I thought are really great takeaways for today.
I think this is such an important part of the show, Sheryl, is that, we are we're in that teaching mode. We're bringing up new tips and tactics. But the bottom line is we've got to take action. And again, it's so important for when we build our networking community that we take action and do the things that we say we're going to do.
That's right. That's right. So let's address number 1, which is?
Don't change your story to fit the person you're networking with. That happens so many times that once you meet them at the networking event, you set the appointment for the one-on-one, and then they come for a cup of coffee, and you go, "Who is this?"
Yeah, that's right. Well, and they're working their way around the room. The brand messaging should be consistent. Now, you might adjust it based on the person you're talking to, because one might be the owner of a company, one might be a sales representative for a company, and one might be a solopreneur. So you might adjust it, but that your same persona, right? What's in your heart, the way you approach things, the way we approach things, and then that messaging should be consistent.
Well, it's like what you said earlier, your one word, be your real self.
Yeah.
Be authentic.
That's right. REAL. So that's super great. Item number 2, give your full attention to people. What's your hardest thing when you're in a networking event, a room, multiple people all talking? What's your hardest thing about being tuned in?
The hardest thing is just staying focused on that one person I came up to talk to or whatever, where you've got other people in the room, or you see someone going over there and you cut the conversation short. You're just distracted, looking this way and not really paying attention. So you've got to stay, fully focused on that one person.
And what does that tell you, though, when you're the one talking to somebody and they're looking over your shoulder or around the room? What does that say to them about you?
Well, they're not interested in me at that point in time. They're someplace else. I'm just blah 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 blah.
That's right. That there's somebody or something more important than me, and so you might as well just bail at that point. Right? Hello. So, and I've done it, especially running an event. It's been really hard sometimes because you're managing multiple things and you can't afford to have somebody walk out the door that you're trying to grab.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think I'm gonna equip myself for that. That is, get a whack-a-mole hammer, and when I see that go boom, I'm gonna bump them on the head.
Thank you, Rob. So item number 3.
Follow through with actions and commitments. Oh my gosh, that is the biggest thing you've got to do at any event. You've got to bring out the scorecard.
Yeah.
Write down the people that you met,
Yeah.
and then what you said you were going to do,
Yeah.
so that you follow up within less than 24 hours and
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give a couple of quick tips. I know we're going to wrap this up, and I don't want to go over time too much, but a couple of quick tips. So we talk about follow-up all the time. It is, I think, one of the biggest problems for everybody. Most people still don't follow up with me. I kid you not. Most people do not, 80 to 90%. So quick tip, when you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, if that's how you're connecting with them at an event,
Right.
In that message box, have an action item. Hey, great meeting you tonight. Let's schedule something in the next 2 weeks on a Monday or a Friday, right? Something that will trigger an action item. If you're using cards, keep a pen with you, a Sharpie, and write down follow up. And then scan that card in and make sure the next morning you're emailing that person or pinging them somehow. So those are just 2 quick things but it has to be a discipline. That follow-up has to be a discipline.
Absolutely.
And you have to be committed to it.
Yep.
Just like working out.
Yep,
All right,
yep, yep.
So there we go. The networking fake and shake. And don't forget, we don't want you to network the way you've always done. It's a networking stop year. That's what it is.
I'm mad as hoo-hoo, and I'm going to stop networking, Cheryl.
That's right, you are. And we want to hear from you, info@networktodaydfw.com. Give us your stories. And actually, I've had some of those come through, and I'm sorry, I need to compile them so we can talk about them here on the air because they're really good ones. So I am committed to following up on that. So info@networktodaydfw.com. Make sure you connect with either Rob or I on LinkedIn if we're not already connected. Please share this with others, too. People are getting some value out of this.
They are.
I mean, so
I am.
I know, me too.
I'm learning so much every week.
Me too. And exciting announcements coming up, so you want to make sure you subscribe through our website with your email address. And cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
To another great time. Yeah, that's right. Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
making money
faster. See you next week.
This has been a Purple Cow production.